Greetings and welcome to University of the Universe. I'm your host, the Professor. This will be a winter solstice reading as well as a 2019 reading for this upcoming year. And frankly, I'm very excited because there are some very powerful placements of planets in this upcoming year, particularly Jupiter in Sagittarius and Saturn in Capricorn. Jupiter represents expansion, higher education, spirituality, spiritual values, travel. And so these themes will be very, very powerful this next year. And so, really that notion of luck that kind of comes through in various traditions, windfalls, those sorts of things, will really be present for many people in this next year on many, many levels. And so the other thing that I wanted to communicate was this notion that Saturn in Capricorn has kind of the opposite effect. Saturn represents restrictions, limitations, obstacles. Now, you might be asking yourself, why would this be a fantastic placement? Well, without limits, this world that we exist in, this 3D world that we exist in, simply wouldn't exist. And without limitations, we don't have form, we don't have structure, and so this sign is often associated with business. And business, of course, we all know, has to have a niche. And so without that niche and without that structure, it cannot exist. Nor can your paycheck as a worker exist without a structure of time and money. All of those things have to exist for a business to be successful. But this goes beyond just business. It mimics principles that are in nature. The butterfly doesn't form when you open the chrysalis. You have to allow it to struggle a bit. And so this idea of limitation as struggle, but to see struggle not as your enemy, but as your ally, will really empower you. And so this is the wisdom of Saturn in Capricorn. So without any further ado, I wanted to get into the 12 signs and start doing horoscopes for this next year. And I'm going to say that Aries, this will be a fantastic year for you to expand your repertoire in terms of workouts, physical activity. Maybe you're a boxer, perhaps you're a runner, but you might add yoga to your routine for stretching, for instance. Or you might go swimming if you don't have that as a part of your workout routine. What you're going to be doing is expanding into new realms in terms of your physical body. Also, I'm going to say that there'll be challenges because of this presence of Saturn in Capricorn. But of course, we all know that resistance creates strength. And so if you're using that powerful resistance to your advantage, you're really going to come out ahead in this next year. And there'll be many adventures for you this next year with travel on the horizon as well. I'm also going to say that Taurus is going to be experiencing very likely a good financial year. There will be new opportunities for you, and we talked a lot about finances before, but really this next year is going to be very stable and very structured, and it's going to be a good year to lay a foundation for a career. And so think about those things that you're really, really skilled at, that you're very, very good at, your strengths, and start to market those this next year and land that amazing career that you've always wanted. Gemini, I'm going to say that this upcoming year is going to be one in which there will be some challenges, mostly due to the position of Jupiter. You're going to be challenged to look at the big picture rather than the minutia, and look at expansion rather than just the details of everything. And so because this sign is ruled by Mercury, there is this idea that we're looking through a microscope instead of a telescope. And so this year is going to be a challenge for you to look through the telescope, find things out there that you've never done that will get you outside that comfort zone that you're often familiar with. And just keeping track of the details is not all there is to life. So understand that these challenges will be positive for you and embrace them as they come in this next year. Cancer will be challenged as well. Much of what's going on are challenges regarding your role as caregiver, role as mother or father, but this idea also of the patriarchy being a challenge to you. And so understand that you are doing a lot of the good work, the work that doesn't necessarily get a lot of recognition, but do it out of the goodness of your heart. And over time, use the wisdom of Capricorn that's challenging you to start building your world. Maybe it's a world that's in the background. Maybe it's a world that's not necessarily public all the time. Don't belittle it because it's not, showy or public. Look at your role and go through that obstacle of its challenges and embrace them and make them your own. And as you do, you will build a fantastic name for yourself and really come out ahead. I'm also going to say that Leo is going to be experiencing some really great fun this year. This year will be just a time for gathering with friends, going out and having a good time, being creative with friends, and I would also say new friends. And I would say also this notion of expanding into new friendships through various forms of education and creative endeavors. And so, bringing those people together to a common vision is very, very powerful. Often, creators of artists of various kinds try to do everything themselves, and we all know that it's much better when we bring people in to start enriching whatever we're creating and enriching other people's lives as they take part and participate in those creations. Virgo, this next year will be fantastic for you. Really a lot of career growth I see, and already you very likely had a promotion this last year. I'm seeing some promotions for you in the next year as well. And really the wisdom I would say, the warning I would give rather, is not to work yourself to death. Yes, there are tremendous opportunities right now. Yes, there's a lot of money to be had, but also see to your private life, also see to your physical body. Get appropriate amounts of rest this next year, and don't make it all about work. I mean, we all have to have fun. We all have to have joy in our lives, but you'll have plenty of resources and plenty of money, so don't allow that to prevent you from enjoying your friends and family and that sort of thing. Libra, this next year will be great as well. There's going to be a lot of new possible love interests in your life if you don't have a love interest in your life already. But even if you are married or you are with a partner, I would say that adventures with that partner are going to really be a strong theme this next year. Going places, experiencing travel, experiencing other countries, really making those dreams come true, because you will have the resources to do so, and you will also have the partner very likely that's amenable to such adventures. So, and through that enculturation, experiencing of cultures around the world, this will very likely affect your artistic sentiments and bring forth a very cool artistic note as well. Scorpio, this next year is going to be really good as well. I would say a lot of these notions of making things happen in this world that you're intending will very likely come to fruition, and you'll be experiencing a lot of this head spinning. That is, how did I make that happen? Don't question how you made it happen. We all have our intentions. Many of them are unconscious in their character, and so reaching into your subconscious, your unconscious, and being very, very clear about what it is you're intending will guide this process of manifestation for this next year and add clarity. That is, it really is apparent to you that you are willing these things into existence. And so just embrace them. Understand that they have a wisdom to them and an opportunity for tremendous good in the community. Sagittarius, what can I say? I mean, it's just going to be an awesome year. Travel to sacred sites is very likely for you this next year. I would also say new education and just feeling good about your physical body will be something that's fantastic for you as well. And going hiking and doing these things out in nature that really enrich your life will be a strong theme too. So, this idea that don't fence me in, this whole thing that Sagittarius has this sort of reputation for, will be a part of this upcoming year for you. But I would say that it's not going to be negative in tone. It's not dodging commitment or anything like that. It really has to do with experiencing life to the fullest that you really can in this next year, and just really expanding those horizons. And I would say this is a very spiritual year for you. You're going to really clarify and identify what your spiritual values are. If you have a religious tradition, very likely you're going to go deeper into that tradition. Or if you're more spiritually oriented and not necessarily religious, going into deeper practice in terms of meditation, yoga, those kinds of things will be very, very likely in this upcoming year as well. Capricorn, this is going to be a year of continuous surprise and continuous attainment. That is, these things that you've talked yourself out of, or maybe you don't believe you can do, really are possible. And all it really takes is just a tiny kernel of belief. And I'm going to say that this kernel of belief will really aid you this next year. And, honestly, because you're the master of limits, because you're the master of the niche, you're going to find those important resources that you need and ideas for creating those resources and just bringing it to fruition. And understand that being the hermit is not the goal, is not empowering necessarily. Neither is being extremely social, but rather finding those people of value that help build your life and your dreams in this upcoming year. And it doesn't have to be that many people. I mean, we're talking about probably 5 people at the most, but understand that those 5 people make all the difference in the world. And so, Aquarius, I'm also going to say that this year will be very, very expansive in terms of your humanitarian efforts and nonprofit interests. Because you care so much about humanity, and humanity is exploding, frankly, in terms of population, there will be just tremendous opportunities for you to help humanity this next year. And Jupiter in Sagittarius really creates this beautiful sextile with your sun, which is the spirit of good in the world. And I would say that this theme of doing good will really be a powerful theme for this next year. And so just see this as a windfall opportunity for you to help those people in other countries who might be starving, who don't have enough food, or even in this country who are impoverished or perhaps are drug addicted. I mean, finding the good, finding the prince in every single person that you encounter will really be a theme of this next year, and really taking the higher ground. Pisces, I'm also going to say that this next year is going to be another year of manifestation, similar to that of Scorpio. It's this idea that your fantasies and your imaginative life are really going to take shape and take root. And you'll be astounded, frankly, at your ability this next year to bring things into reality. There will be friction. I'm not going to say that there's not a frictional tone here. As Jupiter is in Sagittarius, that's going to be squaring your sun, which really that has to do with a different orientation. Sagittarius is a masculine orientation. Pisces is a feminine orientation. So there's going to be a friction. You're going to want to go deeply within, and sometimes you may be prevented from doing that because of some dogmatic idea or tradition, or people out there believing certain things and interfering with your ability to really go within and find those spiritual truths. And, communicating those spiritual truths to society, but them being resistant to it because of religious leanings and conservative leanings. So understand the wisdom of Jesus in this, to love your enemies and to approach them with love and forgiveness. And this next year will be truly magnificent and a beautiful manifestation of your desires. So Thank you again for tuning into the University of the Universe. Your donations have been more than welcome. If you are interested in donating to this YouTube channel, don't hesitate to go on to the YouTube banner there. You'll see a PayPal donate button. Any donations are most welcome. We ask that if you do choose to donate, that a minimum donation of $5 is reasonable. So we do accept that. And thank you again for tuning in to the University of the Universe. And hey, have a fantastic 2019. So long.